What's good, guys? Hope you guys are good. Um, Today I'm back with another video, and yeah, guys, on this video I just want to talk about something that can be most confusing if you are a beginner trader, right? Which is identifying those support and resistance and understanding the market structure, right? So yeah, guys, so bear with me. I know my sound is not that clear, but I'll try to be uh, I'll try to do my best, man, so that you guys can hear me out, right? So basically, what is support and resistance, right? So when we are talking about support and resistance, we are talking about um, if you are a beginner trader or an intermediate trader, we also call this um, floor and the ceiling, right? So it's basically one and the same thing, right? So let me just try to do my best here, just to explain this part so that we can all understand this, right? So what happens is, the idea is that when we are at support, we will look to buy the market to go long, right? When we are at resistance, we will look to sell the market, right? We'll look for confirmations to sell the market, right? So again, when we are on the floor, we are buying to go up. When we reach the ceiling, we are selling to go down to the floor again. So think of let's think of a tennis ball, right? If you bounce it from the floor to the ceiling, that's what it's gonna do. You're gonna bounce it from the floor. When it gets to the floor, it's gonna wanna go up to the ceiling, right? When it reaches the ceiling, it's gonna wanna go down to the floor, right? So that's exactly what we are looking for, right? So this is what we are looking for, guys. This is our floor. So when we are on the floor, this is what we are looking for. We are looking for the market to do something like this, right? To do something like this and reach the ceiling, right? When it reaches the ceiling, we're expecting something like this, right? We're expecting something like this to reach the floor, right? A number of things can happen to the floor. It can break this floor, come back down. Then when you look back, further back on your left, right, you can see maybe we have another floor, right? Then this is what we call break and retest, right? Then the market can do something of this sort, right? It's possible, right? Or if it does this, come back here, goes back down, then breaking this point again, then still this is a break and retest because we've broken this floor. Now this, it's no longer a floor, it was a ceiling now because we're under it, right? Now it's a floor just because we are above it, right? So above it's a floor, below it's a ceiling, right? So hear me out. Then the market will go up like this, right? There's a number of ways that the markets can go about in terms of breaking the floor and um, like meaning that it's not gonna break the floor, right? So this is just an example to show you the break and retest plus how the market can react on this area right here, right? Yeah, yeah, guys, forgive me for that. So what I want to say also is these movement. What are these movements, right? These movements are called, this is this is basically how the market moves, right? It does not move in a straight line. So what it did, it created a high, came back, created a low, it created another high, came back, created a low, it created another high, breaking this high, right? So it's creating higher highs, right? That's exactly what the market is doing on this point, right? On this area, it's creating higher highs and higher lows, right? So if I were to write this, it will be something like this. It's HL, something of this sort. It's creating, no, this one it's higher lows. This goes right here, higher lows. Then here at the top, it's higher highs. It's creating higher highs. It's creating higher highs. It's creating higher highs, right? It's higher high, higher high. Right. So look at this. This is the market came from this. Um, we said it's a floor or it's a support, right? It came from the support area, right? It went up, created a high, then it went down, created a higher low, right? How do we confirm this as a high low? After it has broken this higher high, right? Once it breaks this higher high like this, right? When it breaks this higher high, right, and break through like this, then we confirm this as a higher low, right? Which is a value, right? It's also called a value, right? So we have broken this higher high, then the market created a higher high again. This high is higher than this, the previous high, right? It's a higher high. Then the market came back down, tested the support, right? What I did here, this is what it exactly did here. Came back and tested this. The only time you can confirm this is a higher low when the market has broken this higher high. This point right here. Then the market did break this higher high. Then we confirm this as a higher low, which is a value, right? This is what we're going to be doing, guys, throughout this uh, tutorial, right? The reason why I'm showing this, it's because it can be difficult when you're starting out, right, to spot this. So I'm only showing you guys so that you can understand the market structure, because it's a very important element a trader need to have in his or her arsenal, right? So yeah, let's see. Then the market came back, created this, oh, this higher high, right? After it broke this higher high with this higher low, it created this higher high, right? Then the market came back here, created this. So we anticipated, this is what we had in mind. We were expecting the market to go above, right? But what it did, it just went down, right? So this is what we call a shift in market structure, right? Now we have created something completely different from what we're doing here, right? Now this is a higher, sorry guys, uh, let me pause the video a bit. There's something that's troubling me. Okay guys, so I'm done here. So there was something that was troubling me, guys. Sorry about that. So the market has we were anticipating the market to go up, but it didn't. It's created this high. Now it's going down, right? It's headed down, breaking this point right here, right? Breaking this point right here, right? So something completely different now has happened, right? Just because we reacted on this ceiling, right, which is a resistance, right? So what happens now is we are creating lower, this is a lower low, right? It's a lower low. So how do we know this is a lower low? L L, right? How do we know that this is a lower low? After the market has broke this area, right? After the market has broke this area, right? So here we have a lower high, right? A lower high. Now we are selling, it's a different thing. Now it's no longer higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows. Now we're gonna create a different series of market structure, which is gonna be lower highs and lower lows. This high is lower than this one, so it's a lower high. It's lower than this high right here. Then this low, it's a lower low, right? So let's continue with this. Let's clone this. Let's clone this. So we had another lower low. A lower low is created first, then a lower high, because the market, for us to confirm that it is a lower high, it has to break a lower low, right? So the lower low is created first, then a lower high, right? Then the market created a lower high. But how do we know it's going to create a lower high? After it breaks this point right here, right? This lower low, then we can confirm it's a lower high. We can also call this peak, right? This is a peak, right? This is a peak, right? We can also call this areas it's a peak. This can also be a peak, but basically it's just the same thing, right? Here this is also called valley, a valley, right? You can also call this a valley. It's a valley. So this is a valley, right? This is a valley. Right. This is also a valley, right, guys? Sorry for the mess, but I think you guys get my point, right? I think you guys get my point, because yes, I'm a bit like this. Yeah, yeah. Exactly. This is a peak. This is a peak. Right. Then these are called swing highs. These are called swing lows, right? Swing high, swing lows. So now we are looking at a market structure now. This is what we call a market structure. When the market is buying or the market is bullish, the market is going to create a series of higher highs and higher lows, right? Higher highs and higher lows, up until it reach a certain point, which is a ceiling that you have drawn on your trading view, MT5 or MT4, right? Then it's gonna create a series of lower highs and lower lows, lower highs and lower lows, which are also known as peaks higher highs and higher lows, which we have valleys, then I must swing high, right? It's something like that, guys. You will never go wrong once you understand this thing, right? So something I want to add here is a very important element, right? So I'm just going to make an example here. Let's say this is a D1. This is a D1. This is a D1, right? This is a daily. If it's a D1, it's a daily support. From a daily support, we're gonna move to another daily resistance. From a daily flow, we're gonna move to a daily ceiling, right? From a daily support, I'm gonna repeat myself, guys, because this is very important. From a daily support, we're gonna move to the uh, daily resistance. From a daily resistance, we're gonna move to a daily support. I don't know if that makes sense, but here's a thing now. What you're gonna do once the market reaches the area where you say it is a daily resistance coming when you are coming from the floor, what you're gonna do, you're gonna switch to lower time frame, preferably H4 and H1. That's where you're gonna look for the market shift like this. This is what you're gonna look for, right? It means you're gonna look for the market to create lower highs and lower lows on that smaller time frame, right? And also the thing that is more important, you're gonna need this to be broken. You're gonna need this to be broken. You're gonna need this to be taken out, right? You need this to be taken out to show you that we have a strong market shift, right? We have a strong market shift. You need this to be taken out. The last valley, the last higher low, you need it to be taken out for you to confirm a sell from this point daily ceiling, daily resistance, to this point daily support, right? You're gonna need this to be taken out. So that's very important. But here we are just making a scenario on something that we have drawn, right? The most important thing is what we're gonna do next, which is to go to candlesticks, right? Another thing you can use, it's a trend line. I know some people, they do hate trend lines, right? But you can also use it when you're still a beginner, because it's gonna help you once the market starts to be on this side of the trend line. This is a trend line, right? Above, we were buying, then we reacted on this daily resistance, daily ceiling, then the market broke it, came back to retest it. Then from this point, we are just selling up until you reach this point, right? Obviously, that's not always what happens, guys, right? That's not always what happens, right? The market does what it does, right? So don't expect the market to do exactly what you have predicted. It can, if that was the case, we won't be taking losses as traders, right? We will not take losses as traders. Remember, here you are dealing with smart people who just want to take your money away from you. You also want to take their money, right? So let's be clear on that, right? So let's go on. This is a daily candlesticks, right? This is a daily. So I'm just gonna make an example about this area, right? So here, this was our support. What I'm doing, it's called yeah, let's call it back testing, right? Because I'm showing you what has already happened, right? We are seeing this in hindsight, right? But it's for educational purposes only, right? It's not something that I'm forging, right? I do know this thing happens, just that I'm showing you this on this area so that you can get a perspective of what's happening, right? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna close your candlestick you're gonna put your supports and resistance at the candlestick close and open, right? This is where the candlestick opened, this is where the candlestick closed, this is where you're gonna put your support area, right? Then you're gonna look for, remember we said from daily to daily, right? We said from daily to daily. Where's another daily resistance, which can be the ceiling, right? Let's put this one right here. I know there's a bunch of them that I see, but let's put this one. Then we also have this one, right? We also have this one, guys, but this is just in the middle, so I don't want to put it, but let's put it anyway. This is also another one, this is also another one, but let's focus on these ones, right? So what you remember, we are on this area. I know this can be confusing when you're still new, so I'm gonna mark it like this when we go to a lower time frame, so that you can see where we are talking about. Which area? We are talking about this area right here, right? Then we want to see the market break. Since we said when it reaches a daily support or resistance, it has to break the the H1, the H4 previous last, since we are selling previous peak or higher, lower high, I mean, right? Lower high, right? When that has been broken, then you can look for buys, right? So let's go to our lower time frame. Let's start on the H4. Then you can look for buys, right? Okay, so let's look at this. Okay, remember, this is, I also said you can draw a trend line, right? There was a reason for that, right? You can also draw a trend line. After it has been broken, then you're gonna start looking for things to buy, right? Remember, on where did the market touch our zone? Let me go and mark it on the daily, so that you won't be confused and thinking that I'm playing with you guys, right? So this is very close, these two areas, right? Very, very close. So the market won't usually do what you want it to do, right? It's gonna do what it's gonna do, right? You just have to reason with it, right? So from this point, from here, 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 we can say that the daily was tested, right? Okay, let's start on this point right here, right? Let's start on this. After this has been tested, this daily, what we are looking for, we are looking for a H1, a shifting structure on the H1 on the H4. So we can see here that we do have something that we can call a peak or a lower high, right? Okay, but it's not clear here. Let's go on a H1 time frame, right? Let's go on H1 time frame. So let me go H1 time frame. Here is what I'm talking about, right? This is what I'm talking about. Remember, the market was selling down up until it reacted on this daily, right? Although it didn't reach it fully, but it reacted on this daily, right? It did this double bottom, right? After this, it went up, right? So what we're gonna look for, it's the break of this structure. It's the break of this structure, right? So if you pay attention, this is what happened. The market broke this structure right here, not here, did a fake out. Here you can see the candle did close above it, right? So after that, the market went down, then found an area of support, then went up, right? So remember, after we were trending down, this is what I drew. This is what I drew. I said when the market was trending down, it's gonna react on a daily, then starts to do something like this on a smaller time frame, right? Boom. That's exactly what the market did, guys, right? That's exactly what the market did. It went down, reacted on a daily, then from a daily it created something of a bullish market, right? This is a bullish market. When it started to do something like that, it broke the structure, then came back, created this lower low, but this lower low is only confirmed after we have broken this um, higher high, right? How do we break this high? Is when do we take this entry, right? We take this entry around this area, right? So there are a number of ways you can take this entry. You see, when you see maybe a bullish candlestick like this being formed uh, at this area, then you think of what is, then you see the time, maybe you're trading the London session, you're like, oh, okay, the London session has created a low. Maybe this is gonna be a low of the day, then you go up, but that is more of a more advanced type of trading, right? What we can focus on is this, right? For now, let's focus on this. So imagine you took this entry right here, you had your stop loss below the candlestick, then you place your TP like this. You were able to catch more than 1:5 to 1:7 RR, right? By listening to this thing only, right? But it does not end there, right? It does not end there. The market came back. Now you see, when it's coming back like this, when you already have this value on the H1, it's not creating a H1 value, it's creating now a H4 value, right? It's creating a H4 value, right? A lower, a higher low, right? So this is what the market was doing now. It's still reacting on the same zone, right? But now it's doing it on the H4, right? So what you can do again when it comes back, you look at the candle that's gonna be bullish around this area. You place your buy. Sorry about that. You place your buy at this area. You place your stop loss below here, then you can place your take profits at maybe here. You are gonna be able to catch a 1:4, right? Why am I placing this take profit around this area? Here we had this zone, right? So here we had this zone. Obviously the market is gonna react from this zone. This is also a ceiling, it's a break and retest, so you can take your profit around this area. Why am I taking my profit around this area? Because here we have a higher low, a lower high, right? So we don't know if the market is gonna break it or not. So I'm assuming that when it gets here, it can retrace, so I'm gonna take my profits here. So imagine with these two entries you were able to make more than 10%, right? Because it's 7 and 4, right? How amazing is that, right? Just look, using a simple strategy. It does not only end there, right? You can also continue to keep on looking for buys when the market gets down here, because you're gonna buy from this area up until this area, right? So this is just a simple strategy, guys, that you can use using a small logic, right? Using a small logic. From this point, you're gonna, so when we are talking about it, this is these red lines are my daily ceiling and floor, right? But the trend obviously is gonna happen on a lower time frame, guys. You're not gonna see the daily candlesticks rising like this, right? Except when you when these red lines, my red lines, are a monthly support and a monthly resistance. But since they are a daily support and resistance, we're gonna see this clear uptrend on a lower time frame like the H4 or the H1, even lower, right? So I prefer that you stick to H1 and H4, right? So from this area we're gonna see something like this. It happens on a lower time frame, guys, right? Then from here we're gonna see something like this up until the market chooses to break above, then come back to do something like this. Now we know that we are going all the way to the top, right? That you see what you see here, it's exactly what we saw here on the candlestick, right? When we're looking at the candlesticks, right? It's the same thing. Look at this. Look at this. It's the same thing. This is our trend line. This is our trend line. It's broke the trend line. It's broke the trend line. It came back. We entered here. We had a buy. It came back. We entered here. We had a buy. Right? So this is a simple strategy that you can use, guys. It's very simple. So please, guys, try to understand the market structure. A strategy, you can also add your entry triggers, right? Your entry triggers. Remember, I told you guys on the previous video that you have to know the jargon, right, before you continue with trading the forex market, right? When I'm talking about an entry trigger, I'm talking about this is a rejection candle on the H4. I know that there's a possibility that the market now is gonna go up, right? Because we are rejecting off this support area, right? Of this support area. So I'm taking this based on this candlestick, right? Because a candlestick tells us as traders that how the market is feeling at that particular moment, right? So yeah, guys, this is amazing. Beauty of the beast. We were able to explain support and resistance. I hope you guys really found this video useful, right? Peace and love.